Learn how to use the screen width property to find the total horizontal pixel width of the user's physical device monitor. Let's look at an example together on how we can use the screen width property to find the total horizontal pixel width of a user physical device monitor. So in this example, we really don't have anything that needs to be added in our HTML section. But before I move into the script tag, I want to quickly explain something about this property. Now, you see the screen property, unlike the window.innerWidth, which only measures the inside of the browser window. The screen width on its own looks at the physical screen hardware itself. That is, it will measure the total width of the entire monitor or phone screen from the absolute left edge to the right edge. For us to see how this works, let's look at this simple example that demonstrates that to us. So in my script tag, let me just call on document.getElement by ID method by ID casting demo dot inner HTML equals to add a simple text. Screen width is, I want to leave a space, screen dot, you will see that immediately I type on screen and the dot, so it brings available options for me. You can see available height, available width, color depth, height, orientation, pixel depth, and width. But the one I'm most interested in is the width. And once I click on it, we see what is going to happen on the screen. Now you can see screen width is 1536. That is, what does that mean? Now, what it means is that this script automatically detects the total horizontal pixel resolution of my physical computer and outputs that exact number on the page, which means that this horizontal pixel resolution is coming from the hardware of my system. So let's look at the physical screen hardware itself, not just my web page space on the browser. So it looks at the whole screen size, not just where the web page is taken, but the whole screen size, and outputs the width to me. When you try this on your own computer, it can give you a value that is different depending on your physical hardware screen. So what we just did here is that we use the screen width property to query the user's device settings to get the total horizontal resolution of the display hardware in pixels. What does that mean? Normally, if you have if you try and search for display settings, now look at it. If you click on display settings and you try to check the resolution, see what we have here. 1920 by 1080 recommended. That is my display resolution. So this hardware part is what the screen width works with. So it will query the user's device settings, and it will use that to get the total horizontal resolution of the display hardware in pixel. And the document.getElement by ID part demo.innerHTML, its work here is that it will target this empty div class and this empty div ID that I have here, and then it will now insert the text string that I have inside this part along with the raw pixel number that is gotten and fetched by this screen.width property and display it on the screen. So, and that is what this part is doing inside our code, as you can see it on the screen. So this is printed onto the screen automatically. Once it is detected by this property, it will run automatically, and on page load, it will display it on the screen. Here are key takeaways from this lesson. Number one, the screen width property represents the total width of the physical monitor, regardless of how small or large the browser window is sized. So even if you can see that what you can see here is not up to this by default because I resized it, I resized it. But despite the fact that it is resized, it is working with the physical hardware, not as a result of whether I cropped it or I expanded it. So that is how the screen width method property, that is how it works. So it's dealing with my it's dealing with my physical hardware resolution by querying the user setting, not just the size of what is visible or what my browser window looks like. You can see that I have resized the browser window to this app, and yet it is giving me the full width that represents my physical hardware for my laptop screen. Number two, the return value is an integer representing the maximum horizontal pixel density of the hardware display. Using this property, you can use it to test and understand or identify your monitor width. So regardless of the browser window, it deals with your physical hardware by querying your user settings to read the monitor width. So even if it is a phone, if you design a browser on phone, whether a desktop or whatever, it will work with the hardware to get the exact size and not just the size of the browser pattern.